Hello friends, praise the Lord. I am Hebron Peters. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a series of crusades. During the Crusades. During the last 4 decades, the Crusades have become one of the most dynamic areas of historical inquiry, which points to an increasing curiosity to understand and interpret these extraordinary events, which persuaded people in the Christian West to want to recapture Jerusalem. The Crusades were a series of holy religious wars initiated, supported, and directed by the Roman Catholic Church in the medieval period between 1096 and 1271. That had the objective of recovering the Holy Land from Islamic rule. Christianity was adopted by the Roman Empire in late antiquity, and Constantinople was founded by the first Christian Roman emperor, Constantine the Great, in 324 AD. The city developed into the largest in the Christian world, while the Western Roman Empire collapsed at the end of the 5th century. The city and the Eastern Roman Empire are more generally known as Byzantium, the name of the older Greek city it replaced. By the end of the 11th century, the period of Islamic Arab territorial expansion had been over for centuries. In 1071, Jerusalem was captured by the Turkish warlord Atsiz, who seized most of Syria and Palestine as part of the expansion of the Seljuk Turks throughout the Middle East. The Seljuk hold on the city was weak, and returning pilgrims reported difficulties and the oppression of Christians. Byzantine desire for military aid converged with increasing willingness of the Western nobility to accept Roman Catholic Pope military direction. We will discuss about the First Crusade. Most historians consider the sermon preached by Pope Urban II at Clermont-Ferrand in November 1095 to have been the spark that fueled a wave of military campaigns to wrest the Holy Land from Muslim control. Considered at the time to be divinely sanctioned, these campaigns, involving often ruthless battles, are known as the Crusades. At their core was a desire for access to shrines associated with the life of Jesus Christ, above all the Holy Sepulchre, the church in Jerusalem said to contain the tomb of Christ. Absolution from sin and eternal glory were promised to the Crusaders, who also hoped to gain land and wealth in the East. Pope Urban II was a natural leader. He was an eloquent speaker who was able to use his words to enthrall and persuade his audience. After receiving the pleas for help from the Byzantine Emperor, Alexius I, Urban delivered his famous speech that called for Christians to fight for the liberation from the Muslims at the Council of Clermont in 1095. Emperor Alexius had sent an ambassador to seek the help of the Pope because most of Byzantine Anatolia had been raided and taken by the Turks. The emperor implored the help of Western Europe to prevent the fall of Byzantium and to avoid the possible desecration of holy relics by the Muslims. This potential threat was another big motivating force that prompted the Pope to get involved. It would have been a great blow to the Church if the Byzantine Empire fell and everything they held sacred within was destroyed. The Pope had to take drastic action to ensure that the Byzantines received the aid they needed to survive. His powerful speech proved he was the right leader for the job. The number of people expected to respond to the call was greatly surpassed. Thousands of men donned the pilgrim's cross to take up arms against the enemy in the east. The French priest Peter the Hermit led thousands of mostly poor Christians out of Europe in what became known as the People's Crusade. Nobles and peasants responded in great number to the call and marched across Europe to Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire. With the support of the Byzantine Emperor, the knights, guided by Armenian Christians, tenuously marched to Jerusalem through Seljuk-controlled territories in modern Turkey and Syria. The Crusaders marched into Anatolia. While the Seljuk Sultan of Rum, Kili Yarslan, was away resolving a dispute, a Frankish siege and Byzantine naval assault captured Nicaea in June 1097. In marching through Anatolia, the Crusaders suffered starvation, thirst, and disease before encountering the Turkish lightly armored mounted archers at the Battle of Dorylaeum. Baldwin left with a small force to establish the county of Edessa, the first Crusader state, and Antioch was captured in June 1098. Jerusalem was reached in June 1099 and the city was taken by assault from June 7 to July 15, 1099. The Crusaders began a 5-week siege of Jerusalem, which fell on July 15, 1099, during which its defenders were massacred. A counterattack was repulsed at the Battle of Ascalon. After this, the majority of the Crusaders returned home. The Crusaders took over many of the cities on the Mediterranean coast and built a large number of fortified castles across the Holy Land to protect their newly established territories, while also establishing churches loyal to Rome. For the Crusaders, the Dome of the Rock was the Temple of Solomon. The Aqsa Mosque was converted to use as a palace and stables. The Latin Kingdom of Jerusalem established by the Crusaders boasted 15 cathedral churches. The Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, for example, became the seat of a Western Christian bishop in 1110. 4 Crusader states were established in the Near East: the County of Edessa, the Principality of Antioch, the Kingdom of Jerusalem, and the County of Tripoli. The aftermath of First Crusade was, the artists from different traditions met in the city of Jerusalem, for example, Syrian gold workers on the right of the market near the Holy Sepulchre, and Latin gold workers on the left. Indeed, metalwork from this period sometimes combines an Islamic aesthetic with Christian subject matter. Some pieces even bear an inscription indicating that they were made by an Islamic goldsmith for a Christian. Precious works of art fashioned for the churches of Europe celebrated their links to the Holy Land. So, friends, this is the end of part 1 of the series of Crusades. Hope you will like, subscribe, comment and share. God bless you all. The series will continue.